quemando llantas por todas las calles. ¡Ahí les va! Troqueando.
Hey, welcome to the
Amigo
Auto Talk. And you're listening to me, Gerardo Arroyo,
Efrain Quesada, Alejandro Solorio.
and we're going to be covering a topic that is known worldwide about custom cars and custom shops that fix and make custom cars. Okay, so we're here with Hot Rod Ranch in Lompo, California, and we're talking to
Gil Murrow,
brother of who?
Randy Murrow, and Jamie Murrow.
Okay. So they work here at Hot Rod Ranch. It's pretty much a custom shop where they build custom cars, classics, and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, we do complete restorations, sheet metal repair, whatever really needed to handle any of the old car needs.
Pretty much custom.
Yeah.
From ground bottom, anything.
Everything. Yeah.
So we have here a few questions regarding custom cars and like where they come from, who started it, and like where they're important.
Mm-hmm.
And right here it says, we have a question that says, what do you need to open a custom shop?
To open up a custom shop, a lot of you gotta have a lot of desire and drive, and not you can't give up very easily, because it takes a lot of work to deal with all forms of different cars and different types of customers and everything. But obviously, the basics, having a location and all the equipment that you need, welders, sheet metal repair. It just depends on how much of the work you're actually gonna do.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest things, obviously, is the knowledge to have, to be able to cover all the bases, from electronics to welding, fabrication, and it's, paint and body work, depending on what you want to do. But we try to do everything in-house other than probably upholstery.
Yeah.
But it helps to have know a little bit of everything. That way you can understand it and have a better feel for what's needed on a lot of the projects.
So it pretty much comes down to like the category and the drive and the persistence of oneself towards like the dream.
Yeah. We've been at this since we were kids. I mean, my dad and my uncles. One of my uncles was really involved in the hot rod thing, and then my dad also did it. But he was the one that kind of really pushed us, and he always had hot rods when we were kids, and he was always kind of getting us into it a little bit. And in fact, I've got a motor that he pulled out of a car in 1973, and I still have it, and it's been in my family for that long. We've had it in lots of different cars, but he kind of set us down that path. And at first, everybody's like, it's just like something you go through in high school. Everybody's into cars and stuff, but it's just stuck with us. We've always been into it, and we enjoy doing it. It's a lot of work, and there's good times and bad times, probably just like any business. But it's really gratifying when you finish a project and it leaves, and you get to see it. Like we just finished a Jaguar that we did some work on, and seeing it leave and drive away is kind of cool. It makes you feel good. You get a good feeling inside, and
that feeling of completion.
Satisfaction. That the car and everybody's happy with it.
Like in true or false, is it true that it's more common for people to continue the car culture if they started as a kid compared to like when they were older, someone like high school?
I don't think so much. It just depends. I mean, some kids were like myself and my brothers were always around the car, so we kind of fell into it, and then we liked it and kept doing it ourselves. And when we were younger, we couldn't afford to just take it to a shop and have somebody do it, so we had to learn how to do it ourselves. And that's how a lot of it was self-taught. I mean, we went to school, and I went to Hancock, and I learned a little bit more, and then I got some pretty cool jobs after that too. I worked for, my first job out of high school was for Alan Johnson in Santa Maria with a cylinder head shop, where we worked on the top fuel dragsters and stuff. So I learned a lot of stuff there. And then I continued taking automotive classes during the while I was working there, and just kept doing that. And then I worked for Lockheed Martin for a few years before I started the business.
Yeah.
All right. Another question we have is, what are some restrictions for limitizing when working on cars?
What's that again? Sorry.
What are some restrictions for limitizing when working on cars?
Pretty much like what are the limitations? Mostly law-wise of the state.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons. Like we we focus on cars from like 1973 and earlier because you don't have to deal with all the smog laws and all the regulations there. You can kind of build in as you want, which I realize now a lot of the newer culture and younger kids are going into the newer cars, like the, you know, all the LS powered stuff and everything, which is fine. You just have to you have to work your way around that to make sure everything's compliant and you know, meets the needs that the state wants.
Another question will be, what are some benefits of customizing a car?
I've always liked the fact that when you customize a car, you could always make yourself a little different than the next guy. You know, like we've got kind of a niche where we really are into the 60s drag racing style, and people now know us because of that, because that's kind of like, you know, the early gassers and drag cars. A lot of people know us that we build that type of car, but you could kind of build however you want and make it a little bit different. I mean, there's a lot of cars out there that you'll see the same. You go to a car show and like you'll see a ton of 69 Camaros that look all kind of the same, or Chevelle or Mustangs, you know. And we've always liked to be just a little bit different, you know. But that's what I like about it, you know. You could there's no really restrictions to how you want to do it. You can build whatever you want, you know. You could go get a Pinto and make it pretty cool if you really wanted to. I mean, it just depends on what your how much effort you want to put into it.
Yeah. Now, I have understood that customizations of cars originate from oneself to be set themselves aside from the other cars. Because I even see people that when they buy a new car, right away from the dealer, they go in and get an exhaust or something.
Get exhaust or change the wheels or throw stripes on it or put a wing or something like that on it. And that's what's cool is you could, like I said, you could kind of set yourself aside and make it look different than every other car that's out there. And that's how we've always kind of been. We've always tried to build something that's a little unique and different, you know. And the whole drag race thing is now it's become really popular, but we were doing it kind of a while ago, and it's still growing pretty strong right now. But that kind of sets us apart a little bit, I guess, from most custom shops, you know, because there's a lot of high-end shops that build these crazy, almost like space shuttle type of cars that are really high-end. We don't really do that so much. We do the stuff that's kind of still somewhat affordable but looks cool and gets attention out there.
Something more. So you're basically building cars that still resemble the original era of the muscle cars back in the 60s and 50s.
Yeah, that's kind of our thing. That's what we like. Yeah, it's if you look at the books and some of this history from the 60s drag racing stuff, that's what you'll see a lot of that. If you see the cars that we build, we get a lot of our influence from that era, that period of, you know, cars. Not that I don't like the new cars. I mean, I love all the new LS powered stuff too. I mean, we even have, like I just showed you guys, a couple of LS powered projects ourselves, which I enjoy. But I think it's just because that's what I grew up around. You know, I grew up around 57 Chevys with big blocks that sounded crazy, and that's always stuck in my mind. So that's what we kind of lean towards.
Any more questions?
Another question: what could go wrong in a custom shop?
What can go wrong?
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff can go wrong. A lot of stuff can go wrong. I always joke around and say that all I'm doing around is running around putting out fires, because, you know, with cars, things can break, something's not installed right, and a lot of times parts come in that don't fit. I mean, 90% of the time, the part's not going to just bolt on. You're going to have to modify or do something to make it work, but you have to get past it, you know. Like I said, there again is like you got to be persistent and just want to you have to make it happen, you know. It's like it's not, because more likely if you send the part back and get it back, you're going to get one that's pretty much the same way, so you have to kind of figure it out. So a lot of times you have to modify a bracket or some way to make it all work, you know, and that's just part of the custom car world. It's like that 31 Plymouth I was showing you guys out there with the LS3 in it. We've had to there's been so much time involved in trying to make all that fit, because it's such a small car with a, you know, good sized motor with all this stuff. So
you guys take the time to make things fit perfectly, because as in a shop, you're basically taking responsibility for somebody else's safety.
It is.
You know, as I talked with Efren and with Alex,
yeah,
you know, we take the time to make things right, because like you said, there's many things that can go wrong in the shop.
Lots of stuff that go wrong. We double check, and before a car leaves, we usually try to put at least a couple hundred miles on them and make sure everything's good. And if it's going to break down, it's going to break down to us. And then a lot of times it's out of your hands, because we recently finished a car that now 3 times brand new parts have failed on it. Nothing to do with us, but it was a brand new part that failed, and now we're, you know, going to have to replace it or figure out what's causing it to go wrong. But yeah, it's a matter of covering your bases on that stuff, because there's a lot of stuff, and, you know, tools and equipment can go bad, all that.
One last question will be: is it worth customizing your car?
I think so. If not, you're just like everybody else. You know, it's like I don't think I've ever had a stock car, like nothing. And if it was only for a short time. You know, I mean, it's everything I've ever had. Even our trucks. I mean, even our diesel trucks, everything we use to pull, they're all tuned and have everything done to them. You know, but I mean, there's not necessarily anything wrong with a stock car. I mean, if you're just going to use it just to go to work back and forth, I mean, then it is. But I'd rather go back and forth to work in style than in just something that's just looks like everything else.
So pretty much the worth of customizing your car or somebody else's car is out of the desire, right?
Yeah.
It's out of desire for somebody to...
It's a desire to personalize it.
Yeah.
Make it your own, or however the customer wants to do it, you know. I may not always agree with the way the customer wants to do it, but it's their car. If they want me to paint it pink with purple stripes, I'll do it, you know, if that's what they want. But we try to, most of our customers are pretty open to suggestions, so we can kind of give them a little bit of our opinion on what they want, what we feel will look at it, because we've been doing it for so long. And we know what will, you know, appeal when you take it to a car show and be like, you know, like any of the cars that we build, we really focus the engine compartments. I'm really like a stickler about wiring and like cleanliness and everything neat. I like to try to make sure everything, you know, even a car that's got original wiring harness, just make sure there's not wires and butt connectors and stuff all over the place, you know.
And all those details is what actually, like the smallest detail make the biggest difference, and that's what actually bring up into business a custom shop like this, right?
Yeah, that's what will set you apart from a lot of other shops, you know. It's just people will see your attention to detail compared to other shops, you know. And like, I mean, even when we do a complete restoration where we're doing the underside of a car and stuff, I try to make everything nice and clean, and you know, everything, all the brake lines ran really nice, and you know, it's kind of becoming a lost art, because a lot of people there's a lot of shops out there just kind of throwing cars together right now because they want to sell them. But if you take the time to do it right, people take notice of that stuff at a car show or whatever events you take, you know. And we do a lot of drag racing, so the cars have to look good and they have to be safe too, you know. So they have to pass tech inspection and all that stuff. So and we've always been in drag racing, so I think that's probably given us a little bit. That's why we're kind of a little more critical on how we do a lot of that stuff, because there's cars that you'll go to you know, they'll go to pass through tech inspection, and the tech inspectors will look at it and they can tell right away that it's got issues, you know, just by the way it's built, you know. So but yeah, attention to detail in the custom world, attention to detail is everything, because if anybody could go paint a car a bunch of different colors and can build and make a car kind of look cool, but you know, if you see a car that you could open the hood and everything looks good, open the trunk, everything looks good, everything looks good underneath, you know, we're not ashamed of showing any part of the car.
Yeah. So summarizing, to open a custom shop and have it grow up, it all just comes down to one's persistence and dreams, and the safety and the attention to detail, as well as the community, right? The place where you live and the society. Yeah.
No, you want to. I mean, we really try to be fair with all our customers, you know, and you got to be upfront and honest about all that, you know, because when you do a restoration, it can take it's a long process, you know, so you got to make sure they're happy all the way through.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. Thank you for answering questions, taking the time.
Yeah.
No problem. If I could ever help with you guys with anything, just let me know.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the 3
Amigo.
Auto
Talk, and yours truly will always be me, Gerardo Arroyo,
Efren Quesada.
Alejandro Solorio.
and we'll see you next time.